What up, what up, what up? What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. As always, I'm on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again, and I am on the road going back to see my baby. Can't wait to see her, and I'll be back at the Red Brick House for this weekend's football festivities. So yesterday, there was an article in Bleacher Report. I can't remember if it was Blogging the Boys or one of the different publications, and they were talking about Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman, who seemingly has taken the Cowboys by storm, giving the opportunity to play. You may remember Brock Hoffman was actually penciled in to be the starting center for the Cowboys, because the thought was, of course, Cooper Beebe, having been a guard and a tackle, this was a new position for him, and, they looked at it and said, we needed a veteran presence. Brock Hoffman, who has been in the league for a couple of years but hadn't played that much, undrafted rookie free agent originally, has got a bit of a nasty streak. Now, training camp, Cooper Beebe ended up coming on real quick and supplanted Brock Hoffman for the starting center job. Now, here's where things get to be interesting. You look at the Dallas Cowboys now having a running game. And unfortunately, we have Zach Martin, who has been incredible. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. Has been incredible in his career. This year has just, for whatever reason, if it's like all of the injuries decided just to happen this year, we don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know that he wants to end his career on a season like this. He may want to play for another year. And I don't know if the Cowboys want to bring him back for another year. That'll be all worked out in the wash. We do have voidable money on his contract that's still there that they can spread out, but they are going to be paying some money next year, so they may look at it and say, since we're going to pay money, we can kick some of that down the road and just have him here for another year, maybe. And if he's healthy, you're talking about one of the best guards in football. Be that as it may, in Brock Hoffman's time of being a guard, he played really, really well. And then when Cooper Beebe got the concussion, he switched over to center and has been playing really well there too. So the thing you have to love about this guy is, and Stephen Jones, Stephen Jones, he loves himself some position flex. We love our guys, and we love position flex. When you can play in multiple positions, then that means we don't have to pay premier money for a guy to be in two positions. We just pay one guy, and when one guy goes down, boom, we put him up in there, and we don't have to spend a whole lot of money for this muffler. Yeah. So you'd love that. Now, what this article was doing was comparing him to a guy I remember growing up, Cardinals great, dirty, and I mean he was dirty nasty, player Conrad Dobler. Okay, Conrad Dobler, man, you better strap up and have your head on a swivel, because he cheap shot your ass in a minute. Okay, if he played today, and for some of you, you might remember how Richie Incognito was. Richie Incognito couldn't hold a candle to Conrad Dobler. But I'm going to actually say there's a better person to compare him to. And I'm going to say Kevin Gogan, a.k.a. Big Nasty. Big Nasty! That was his nickname. He looks a little bit like Dan Saleo, but he doesn't play like Dan Saleo. Dan Saleo was in the NFL. I don't know, how do we put it? Dan Saleo in the NFL, after an incredible college career, we might say that he was a little soft. He might have been a little soft. Kevin Gogan, Goobs, Man, he had the jaws on him. He was 6'7" and about 325 pounds. What's interesting about him was he was not a high draft pick. And this is something that Jimmy Johnson will tell you about. When you look at the offensive line, the way they built that offensive line, it wasn't all first-round talented guys. You know, it was Nate Newton, who was a cast-off of the Redskins because he said he was too fat and played in the USFL. It was Mark Spagnowski, who was an undersized guard that Jimmy Johnson said, I need you to make him into a center. And it was guys like Kevin Gogan, who was drafted by the Cowboys in '87 in the 8th round. 8th round! But that guy was an absolute positive beast. He had an attitude. He'd come at you, literally. Put him up, man. He gonna hit you, and he's gonna hit you some more. And that's what made that Cowboys team go. Emmitt Smith was an incredible running back. But when you see Emmitt Smith behind guys like Kevin Gogan, it looks kind of like Kayvon Turpin. I'm serious. He looked like a little baby Emmitt Smith. They couldn't find him. And Kevin Gogan, and when you put him in there with Nate Newton and Eric Williams, Larry Allen, it was incredible seeing those guys. And see, I don't think people understand, because what they think of with the Cowboys winning Super Bowls, it was just, it was Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. You got to understand, we ain't got nothing like what those 90s teams had. Number one defense. Number uno. They got the ball back for Troy Aikman early and often. And that offensive line, boy, they made one hell of a pocket. And if you looked what Kevin Gogan and crew would do, some of those plays, I could drive this truck through that line. Okay, the holes were literally that wide. It would be sometimes Emmitt Smith was 5 yards downfield before he'd get any contact. They literally could say, we're running right here and you can't stop us. And that's when you see Brock Hoffman with that little edge of the nastiness. He's got a mean streak. He's got a mean streak. And you start looking at him and I say, yeah, I can see a Kevin Gogan because he's big. He's not as fat. He doesn't have the jaws of Kevin Gogan, because Kevin Gogan, when he'd take that helmet off, it was like Boss Hogg jaws on there, okay? Boss Hogg jaws. But when he hits you on that field, you got hit. You got hit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Absolute positive beast. And if we can get Brock Hoffman, undrafted rookie free agent, to play like Kevin Gogan, along with guys like Tyler Smith, and I'm going to dare say that part of Terrence Steele is changing the narrative a little bit. Terrence Steele is a better run blocker than pass blocker. I don't know if that's still part of the knee, of him having to backpedal and settle, if that's part of the problem. But us running the football with Terrence Steele and getting a guy like Brock Hoffman in there, you look at it and say, okay, yeah, maybe we'll be okay if Zach Martin does in fact retire. Love the guy.